I had to decide to go with the toilet paper, though, Jeff, so it was one or the other.
It actually has a camera in top, so it'll identify what's in there. So if you put like 2 waffles in there, it'll go through the process of crisping up your waffles just how you like them.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Our security breach is bigger than your security breach. Ask Geneva to turn the air conditioning on.
You'd like me to turn on your air conditioner, right?
Yes.
Got it. I've turned on your air conditioner.
I love the Ira app. I find that I'm actually using the phone for the things that I've been using it for reading and picture taking a little bit more than the glasses.
Only get notifications about friends' posts from this group. Button.
So you may belong to a group with 3,000 members or 40 members, but you can now discreetly just receive the messages from friends that are participants in that group.
I've got an Echo B4 thermostat that has a lady built into it. That's going to be interesting. I'm hoping to get a smart lock and a Ring doorbell and some other cool stuff like that.
You know what would be cool on the iPhone is if they had a separate thing for the charge thing and a separate thing for the headphones.
Yeah, that would be very innovative.
Hi, Allison, Jeff, Brian. Thanks so much for chatting about FlickType on That Blind Tech Show. We're getting super excited as we ramp up to launch the system-wide keyboard in the App Store.
Welcome back to yet another That Blind Tech Show. I'm here with the usual gang, Allison Hartley. How are you doing tonight, Allison?
Hello. The Hartleys are now homeowners, so let the awesomeness begin.
Congratulations. Do you guys have a pool?
Thank you. We have a common pool because it's a freestanding condo complex, so it's basically a house. But yes, there is a pool in the complex itself.
I have to keep remembering that you're not a big movie buff, because I was kind of hoping for Chevy Chase's response from Caddyshack when he says, we have a pool, but we also have a pond. Pond would be better for you. So. And Mr. Jeff Thompson, Mr. Minnesota. How you doing today, Jeff?
Super de-duper.
Super de-duper?
Okay, Barney.
Yeah.
I love you. You love me.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I just ruined the show with my singing.
Well, actually, I was going with the movie Grease, but if you want to go with the Barney community, that's fine. Speaking of community, Allison, you mentioned you had a community pool. Are you going to call it the Gene Pool?
Goodness, yeah. Oof.
Boy,
it doesn't make me too eager to be in the pool right now.
I must not have enough caffeine or an education level, because I was like, Gene Pool. Oh!
It takes him a while, folks, but he gets there in the end.
Public schools, people, keep them out of them.
Allison, we'll keep Brian in the shallow end.
We have to start off with, because lately we have gotten a few emails asking, how do I subscribe to That Blind Tech Show? I typed in That Blind Tech Show and, as you like to call it, Brian, Blind Tech Show into my Downcast or other podcast app, and you will not find us under that name because we are part of the Blind Abilities podcast empire. So you need to type in Blind Abilities. Don't put the word empire because it's not in there yet, although Jeff might make that change soon. Type in Blind Abilities into your podcast player of choice, and you'll be able to get every That Blind Tech Show every, 3 weeks as we come to your podcast player or listening device.
And that's 2 words. Blind Abilities.
Not that blind ability.
That one ability.
That particular ability, elusive though it may be.
That one.
That one.
That's the biggest news of the week, obviously, how to subscribe to our show, because if you can't subscribe to it, you're not going to get it. But
yes,
for the sighted world, the biggest news, and I have to ask you, Allison, have you gotten into this whole Yanni Laurel thing?
I have to admit I have, and it doesn't say Yanni for me, though. It says Yanni.
Yanni. Why does it sound like Fran Drescher?
I don't know why it sounds like, oh, Mr. Sheffield. But I'm not sure. But occasionally I will hear Laurel, but mostly I hear Yanni. They did another one that was Brainstorm and Green Needle, and then it depended on what you thought of, what you heard, and then for a while, I could only hear Green Needle, and then I heard Greenstorm, and then I don't know what the heck's going on. I think this is going to tear at the fabric of the world until we just implode, this whole tricking our brains.
It's the end of the world.
I don't know.
As we know it.
It worries me.
I'm often on the streets of New York and somebody says to me, I hate you, but I hear I love you.
Well, see, you're already conditioned for this.
Jeff.
I only said that once, Brian.
Yes, but you meant it. Jeff.
We're both drunk. It was late.
Words hurt, Jeff. Words hurt. What about you, Jeff? Have you been getting into this whole Yanni, Laurel, Larao thing?
Larao.
I heard about it. I listened to it, and I heard something, so I was done. I mean...
Something.
Yeah, I was done.
It's funny. I wasn't even going to include this as a topic because I could care less. And I did think, though, the reason I care less, though, it could be because VoiceOver butchers, as you can see, I could butcher words and VoiceOver butchers pronunciation of words. And I just didn't care because either A, somebody just did this by design and it's just a complete waste of time, or B, I'm just so used to VoiceOver butchering so many names. I have a good friend, I do have one, with the last name Stroak, and every time I ask Siri, just call Keith Stroak, I can't find him in everything. I guess depending on the pronunciation of your first or last name, you can have a lot of fun.
It's funny you should mention that, Mr. Fiskler.
Yeah.
On my phone, it pronounces it correctly.
Tom pronounces you correctly. Karen, I believe, back when I used Karen, did not. A couple of the VoiceOver voices say Fiskler. Yeah.
Fiskler.
Which makes you sound like a bad accountant.
I got a question for you guys. Have you ever dictated something in, it reads it back, and it sounds real funny? Then you go check the words, and the words are correct, but every once in a while, it discombobulates the readout.
Yep. Or the opposite happens. It reads it back beautifully, and then you go to check it, and it's like, swear words and innuendos that you don't want to send to your boss. Like,
the worst that ever happened to me was I dictated a lengthy couple of sentences, and it came back in Russian because the Russians had taken over my phone.
Oh boy, well, it was only a matter of time. I think they're perpetrating the whole Laurel Yanny thing.
Probably, to take us off of, them fixing elections and
right.
All other more important. But while we've been dealing with this, by the way, your bank account has been emptied.
There wasn't much anyway.
After the house.
There was no collusion. About your phone.
None whatsoever. I am absolutely loving the FlickType beta because the greatest thing is third-party keyboard integration. As I tweeted out, it is the greatest thing to be able to find an article that I want to post to a social network, and instead of having to get up and find it on the computer so I could type with a real keyboard, because I always like to put some notes in there, just to bang it out real quick with that third-party integration. And, it's not full yet where you don't have symbols and numbers, but I really think they did a phenomenal job with this integration, at least, so far, where when you want to get back to your regular keyboard, you just touch the screen with one finger and it immediately puts you back to the iOS keyboard. So it's really quick to toggle between both. But I am loving, and I can only imagine how much better this is going to get as they develop it more. Allison, have you installed the beta of FlickType?
It's funny, I've installed the beta of FlickType. I have not played with the third-party keyboard integration yet.
Great.
I've just been too busy, but it sounds amazing. So I can't wait. I can't wait till it's even better and more official.
Allison, what Brian is really saying here is he doesn't want to give up his couch potato status.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I don't have to either. It's just called Braille screen input.
I plan on macrameing myself to the couch now, so I never have to get up. And if I could get Nash, you see, I can't even pronounce my guide dog's name of 9 years.
Poor Nash.
If I could train Nash to go to the fridge and get me a beer like Spuds McKenzie used to do, I will never have to leave the couch. And with great things like Uber Eats and DoorDash, just have things delivered. I mean,
you could have a lady and Siri unlock the door and relock it for you. They could just come on in and just live your whole life from the couch.
My ultimate goal is to only communicate with people while I do this podcast, and outside of it,
there you go.
Never to talk to anybody.
You'll have to get a catheter, though, not to get too personal, but you'll have to.
That sounds extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, if you don't want to leave the couch, you got to pay the price somehow.
That's true.
Well, actually, Jeff is in the other room, and his Google Assistant is attending this podcast right now.
Ooh, duplex. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing creepy about that at all.
Back to the FlickType, though. I sent a message to Costa and Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
And they are excited about it, and we're going to play this clip from them right now.
Yay.
Hi, Allison, Jeff, Brian. Thanks so much for chatting about FlickType on That Blind Tech Show. We're getting super excited as we ramp up to launch the system-wide keyboard in the App Store, which is actually just a few weeks from now. So thank you to the entire beta team for helping us get to where we are today and helping us prepare for launch.
So with a custom keyboard, you can use FlickType in every app. And there's also easier symbol entry, there's emoji, cursor control, visual announcements for low vision folks, and much more. We already see from the beta group that people like to use it much more than the regular app, so we couldn't be more excited to launch this on the App Store in a few weeks.
And to all you listeners out there, it's not too late to sign up for the beta, so if you'd like to, please just send us an email at beta@flicktype.com. That's FlickType.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
That was an awesome audio clip from the gang over at FlickType.
Thank you, guys. We love you.
Well, you love them. I just like them.
I'm a woman. I can express my love in a way that's open and nurturing.
Come on, Brian. It's 2018. I love you, FlickType.
I'm an 80s man. I have trouble expressing my emotions, but
I think it's really great that FlickType's out there, and a lot of people that I know that are on the beta are using it, kicking it around and stuff, and Brian's always talking about it. It's like, oh, if you just do this and do that, and then you do this, you're back to this, and you have not stopped tweeting since FlickType came out.
That's true. That was, well, that and there's just, I'm having so much fun tweeting. You know, I do tweet a lot. By the way, if you do listen to our podcast and you're not following Blind Tech Show on Twitter, we do tweet out a lot of great articles. Some of them we talk about, some we don't. Also, make sure to follow Allison at Hot4 Technology, known as Jeff. That's Jeff with a J, not a Z. And, of course, my personal account, which can get R-rated, at BlindGator. And if you're not a sports fan, you're definitely going to want to mute #Yankees. But those are just some great Twitter follows and everything. I could not get enough of this next story because I think we're all Amazon Prime members here. So this most likely wouldn't happen to us. But, Allison, when was the last time you were charged $7,000 for a roll of toilet paper or a pack of toilet paper?
Wow. I can honestly say that that's never happened, but they did recently lose a dog toy in transit, so I have to figure out what's up with that.
There wasn't a dog attached to it, was there?
There was not. Thank goodness. He was safe at home.
Well, that's good.
But
So if you hear a UPS going down the road going, it could be the dog toy.
I'll know that they have my Wubba Snuggle dog toy and that they're stealing it.
It could. And, actually, our next story will be good for that. But this story about, and the reason we're mentioning it is a lot of us could be guilty, even if we're using Amazon Prime, of just quickly checking out. I've gotten in the habit of whenever you're using Amazon or buying anything online, always look at the subtotal and then the total just to see if there are any hidden charges in there. Because that's what this turned out to be. Where it was, if you're not familiar with the story, $8.13 for the toilet paper, $7,000 plus charges and shipping and handling. Quote of this article was, Amazon said, even if it was shipped from one end of the world to the complete other, it wouldn't have been $7,000 in shipping and handling. And
wow, man. That's crazy.
So where does the world end?
It's flat, so if you get all the way to California, you fall off. Allison's got to constantly make sure not to fall off.
Right, and eventually California itself's going to fall off into the ocean, and then I don't know what's going to happen.
We can only hope. But hippies...
Hey, man, peace and love.
I think all the hippies left California for Oregon for fear of California sinking into the ocean.
Yeah, we got too crazy even for Oregon.
Yeah, just do yourself a favor. Whenever purchasing anything online, always good to check it. Now, Amazon is just driving me bonkers, though, because I always order Nash's biscuits and treats and everything online. And, you know, I'm Amazon Prime, so 2 days later, everything gets here. Well, I just went to order his dog biscuits to get more, and it didn't go through and automatically sent it. I used the A-Lady to place my order, and I noticed it said your item has been placed in the cart, and I'm like, what do you mean the cart? Mm-hmm. And then I went, and now it's part of this, this thing, it must be $25 or above. And, if you're going to raise the cost of Amazon Prime, and now you're taking items away from free 2-day shipping. I mean, Amazon, what's going on there?
Yeah, that's crazy. I think it also depends on if it's like now available from a different seller within Amazon, whether or not they have the free shipping. It's a real cluster, I tell you. I had that problem with his food. I had to like look around and get it from another seller before I could find the Prime shipping. So that's unfortunate.
I've actually cut down from 12 boxes arriving a week to 8.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I live in a small New York apartment, so you don't want to order 3 boxes of these dog biscuits, which will last, and who knows if they stay fresh and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So this is what frustrates me. Okay, yes, I have other stuff I'd like to buy from Amazon, but it's not part of this $25. So it's almost like I'm having to buy stuff that I don't want just to get these dog biscuits, because it has to be part of this qualifying offer stuff, which really is annoying me. And
it is annoying.
So, Brian, how are those sunglasses / headphones going for you?
Yeah, I know. I haven't used them. I mentioned to Jeff, I haven't used them in about 6 weeks or a month or something.
They're that good?
They were cool. I have them. Yeah, I'm curious. I keep meaning to put them on to see if they held the charge or not.
I doubt it.
Sometimes I'm guilty, like everybody, of buying stuff I don't really need.
Yeah.
Oh, just way to go, Brian. Our 9 listeners, all of our listeners went out and bought this product, and now you expose the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. This next story, though, can potentially help, Allison, you find your dog toy. Have you heard about the new Amazon tracking your own package?
I know now that when I get notifications, I will sometimes get a thing that says, see where your package is on the map. It's 7 stops away. And it's always when I'm at work, so I don't really have time to mess with it. And so I haven't played with that to see if it's accessible.
I have yet to get a package, actually, a notification that has that. This is something Jeff and I discussed, where Around Me, for example, if you ever use that app, they have a great map in it where you could touch the map and run your finger along. Yet apps like Uber, Curb here in New York, the map, I learned there's a map in the Curb app because I was with the Sighted Buddy. He says, hey, let me look at the map. I said, what map? He says, there's a map on the screen where you can actually see what street the car's at. It just tells me X amount of minutes away and everything. So I guess it all comes down to the way Amazon is designing this, which hopefully they will design it with accessible design in mind.
I hope so.
I had a package arrive the other day and it said it was 8 stops away. Now, if this was shipped from overseas, I don't know what 8 stops away really means. I mean, where is it?
Yeah, but doesn't it tell you when it's like 2 to 3 stops away, or you could do it and you could run out like you're running after the ice cream man? Can't you trace the UPS truck? I guess you'd have to be able to see it to chase it, though.
Don't joke about the ice cream truck, Brian.
Tell your dog, find the truck.
Was there anything ever better than Eddie Murphy's You Don't Got No Ice Cream? Yeah, Jeff, it's funny that you mention products that I buy that I find out fairly quickly I really don't need, because this next product that we wanted to discuss, the portable battery that you could buy for your A-Lady, the Amazon Dot. At first I was like, wow, this would be really cool. Then it occurred to me I never leave the apartment, so I don't really need it. But for $27.99 US, if you're an outdoorsman type, like Mr. Tree Plant Man over there, Jeff, what about you, Jeff? Would you use an external battery so you could take the A-Lady on the go with you?
All I could really fathom using a battery for the A-Lady would be like if you put it on the shelf on the medicine cabinet or somewhere in the bathroom where you don't really feel like having a cord run across the sink or something. So I suppose someone in those situations, it'd be very practical,
Jeff, do you find the need to talk to the A-Lady a lot while you're in the bathroom?
I could see where you might want to have a book going, or like if you're in the shower and can hear over the water, have like a podcast playing or something.
Oh, I'm constantly listening to entertainment podcasts and stuff while I'm in the shower. I actually have a speaker in the shower.
Nice.
Yeah,
this battery thing is interesting. I haven't looked into it. I have an Echo Dot, which I actually have in a different portable. It's a speaker battery that actually makes it into a better speaker. And you put it in the top of this and connect the ports up, and then it has a micro USB and an aux out port of its own.
Is that the Vox?
Yes, I have the Vox. This is different, though, isn't it, this battery?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine if you're in an outdoors type, or you have a mansion, but if you have a mansion, wouldn't you have more than one A-Lady?
would have one in every room of the. But is this different from the Vox, or is this?
I think there's multiple products of this kind. So
this
the one I saw.
This is more of a battery than the other one is a speaker that also gives it like 6 hours of battery life if you want to.
Yeah. There's so many things out nowadays.
Popping up all over the place. Yeah.
even though we are that blind tech show, sometimes tech even confuses the best of us.
Yes. And we can't buy all of it, although we do try.
We do, yes. By the way, did the Allison Tech Museum, is it going to make it in the move to the new home?
Some of it. I really am going to try to get rid of some things, but we'll see.
So if you're in Napa Valley and need a Braille display, you may want to keep your eyes on the latest
Allison
garage
Tech Museum
sales.
does not have any Braille displays currently.
Okay. CCTVs?
No, the Allison Hartley nor the Jeremy Hartley were never low vision. So.
Oh, okay. White canes?
A couple of those, yeah.
We could be here all day listing products, but instead, let's move on to the next topic because it's a new day, so we must have a brand new Facebook update.
Of course.
At first, I thought this was great, and now I'm just annoyed with it because it's an extra flick each time now in your notification center. If you've updated Facebook recently, in your notification center, to the right of every notification, there's a edit notification button. So now instead of flicking once to the next new notification, you have to flick twice. Yes, I am a lazy flicker. Why couldn't they just put this like in an actions rotor where if you want it, it's in the actions?
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that you could like turn off individual notifications now, but flicking to each individual button, I want to shoot it in the Facebook. So.
Good save there, because at first I'm like, oh wow, with gun control, that could be in the Facebook. I kind of like that.
Hey, I'm nothing if not controversial, so just look at my Twitter.
What about you?
I'm Jeff. She's Allison.
Yeah. Jeff, have you played around with this? Are you setting individual notifications for every notification?
I did notice it, and I just went into it while you guys were talking there, and Allison was shooting them in the Facebook. When I did, so I saw it there. So I wonder, when you do tap on it, then you can turn notifications off for certain people.
It's demo time.
So I'm going to go into the Facebook app and show you under notifications, the new settings for notification settings. Let's go.
Facebook. Camera. Button.
So by default, your cursor ends up in the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to do a 4-finger single tap down near the bottom of the screen.
Navigation. Tab. 5 of 5.
And now the cursor moves to the bottom right-hand corner. And in one single finger swipe to the left.
Notifications. 1 new. Tab. 4 of 5.
Single finger double tap.
Hazel Highland and Marty Schultz posted in the VIP lounge. Just now. Unread.
So I can now do a single finger swipe to the right.
Notification settings. Button.
Single finger double tap. Swipe to the right.
Hill Highland and Marty Schultz posted in the VIP lounge. Hide this notification. Button. Only get notifications about friends' posts from this group. Button.
So you may belong to a group with 3,000 members or 40 members, but you can now discreetly just receive the messages from friends that are participants in that group.
Hide this notification. Button.
And this would hide it from your notification list, which seems like a lot of work just to swipe on by is what I usually do.
Close. Button. Jadiel sent you a friend request.
So when you do get a friend request, it's going to open you up to a list of all the friend requests or
people you may know. Heading.
So basically, you can limit the amount of notifications you get from a group that you follow, especially if the group is a very large group and you only want to receive the messages from your friend. So there you have it.
Demo is over.
Do you guys use two-factor authentication on the iPhone? Because Facebook is now going to be rolling out some kind of two-factor authentication, and I just don't really understand the point of Facebook using it.
I tried to sign up for something like it on Facebook. They were like, protect your account with a PIN. And then all of the edit boxes were dim. So I was like, well, heck with that. I'm not going to bother. So I guess this is different. Yeah, but I do use it on the iPhone and I on my Apple ID, and I love it. It makes me feel very secure.
Yeah, I just enabled it on my Apple ID for the first time because I really didn't know what it was. And then I read it and I said, it's not that bad. We're basically, if you're not familiar with this two-factor authentication, I just assumed, I have to use 2 passwords of some kind to log in. That's not what it is. Say you sign up another device. And the reason I enabled it was because I wanted to start using my Apple Calendar with the A-Lady. And I enabled two-factor authentication. And what it does is you log in with your Apple ID and password, and then it sends to your device about, it was I think a 6-digit code to authorize another device to use your Apple ID. Then I had to go to Apple's website. By then it was getting so complicated. I said, you know what? My iPhone's always here. I don't need the A-Lady to have access to my Apple Calendar. What about you, Jeff? Are you using any kind of two-factor authentication?
Yeah, I have it set up for various things. So I do get like if I go from my iPad to the iPhone or for the Mac and stuff, that I will get those codes and I type them in. I like it. I think it's one of the safest ways to do it. And the thing about Facebook doing more stuff, I think since Facebook got called to the carpet on their sharing data and stuff like that, I've noticed all sorts of companies coming out with all these disclaimers now.
Updated for privacy policy.
Yeah. So I think it's a good thing that they got called out on it. Mm-hmm. I don't think much is going to really happen from it. He just went to the UK and apologized, I guess.
Senator, he's gonna really make a lot of changes, Senator. You ever notice that when he was doing these testimonies, it was always, Senator. It was like he was so defensive.
They should all turn their name tags around.
Yeah.
Well, you think that's bad. I heard Zuckerberg folded under British Parliament worse than Sammy Sosa did under Congress when asked about steroids, where Sammy Sosa forgot how to speak English. Yeah, it did not go well.
Ay caramba.
Well, if you think things are bad for Facebook in England, what about Instapaper in all of Europe? I think it's ending June 1st or something. Yeah, sad.
I use Pocket.
Pocket?
Wow, they get kicked out of England, and look at them.
Yeah. First we kicked, maybe this is it was funny. That would have been funny if British Parliament said, we're kicking Facebook out of England as payback for you kicking us out of the United States. Now we have 2 English listeners. No, we've gotten some nice emails from over the pond.
Hi, Annie.
Lately and everything. Now, this has been happening to me a lot when I go to type, and I don't know, I'm running the beta of iOS. It keeps wanting to move my insertion point. I'm not, like, if I press too hard on the phone, and we're not talking me pressing a lot, my full weight going on.
No, that's a thing now.
It drives me insane. It's awful.
Yeah, it makes me want to murder the phone, honestly.
Damn, Allison. First Facebook sleeping with the fishes, now the phone?
Yeah, what can I say? I have a darkness inside,
That's my Darth Vader impersonation. Yeah, is there any way to turn this off?
No, there does not appear to be. I've looked, and it makes me angry.
Yeah, because you're typing, and all of a sudden you're not where the cursor used to be. You're like in the middle of a word you've already typed.
You just gotta be careful. Yeah.
Or use FlickType third-party beta.
Yep, it's true. You could do that.
Here's what I hate. Say you want to do an emoji, okay? Mm-hmm. And you put it up there. Does everything have to have a skin color? Does everything have to have an accent?
Oh, but we have to be inclusive. If we're not inclusive, everyone will cry.
Hey, I believe I addressed this issue several episodes ago when I said, do we really need accessible emojis? Not meaning accessible to us, but people in a wheelchair, people walking with a white cane, a guide dog. And now you guys are catching up to me, so congratulations.
But if we're not all represented in the emoji, then do we really exist at all?
Hey, you're talking to Mr. Anti-PC. By the way, I need to stop recording the show and check to see if that Twitter name is taken.
You're pro Mac, so.
Yeah, I was thinking I'm going to get too many personal computing people following me. No, political correctness, people. We all know that I love FlickType, but I really do love apps that are specifically designed for us just blind people, because I like to be catered to. KNFB Reader and BlindSquare GPS are 2 of my favorite apps. I mean, I use BlindSquare GPS constantly. I mean, they keep coming out with other GPS apps, Soundscape and ID, but good old BlindSquare GPS, I always come going back to. It's great to just open it up, shake the phone to hear where I am, make sure the cab driver is not kidnapping me, because I did post the other day that I was in a cab and I was the world's stinkiest cab, and the old me would have had to use dictation to Facebook to say I'm in a cab with the world's stinkiest cab driver. And that would have been embarrassing because I wouldn't want him to know that. So I typed it real quietly with FlickType and everything. And I didn't offend that cab driver outside of his stinkiness. So.
And he didn't murder you.
He didn't murder me. But KNFB Reader, my go-to app for scanning documents. Allison, what about yourself? Are there any 2 or 3 apps you just absolutely adore?
I love Seeing AI for all kinds of things, most notably now money identification. I think it's better even than Looktail Money Reader. I love it for looking at pictures on Twitter. I like it for the occasional document reading as well. I especially like the short text function. I love the Ira app. I find that I'm actually using the phone for the things that I've been using it for reading and picture taking a little bit more than the glasses. I also like Voice Dream Reader. I'm actually watching Big Bang Theory, and I have my seasons loaded into there from Dropbox, and plays all kinds of audio. It can play various text formats and stuff from various free and paid libraries. It doesn't support Kindle, but there's a fully accessible Kindle app for those books. And yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
How about yourself, Jeff? You're a blind man. Do you use any blind-specific apps?
Blind-specific. Now you're narrowing it down. Here's what I really use for my blind-related life. I use Dropbox a lot because of files and storage. I use WhatsApp a lot. It seems like there's so many different groups. I can't keep up with most of them, honestly. But when we get into the blindness-related ones, I have to throw in Seeing Eye and KNFB Reader. They each have different purposes and uses for me. Blindness-specific.
It doesn't need to be blindness-specific.
Well, I do like the native Twitter app just because the ease of use to just check things out and swipe through it and everything like that. I do like Twitterific on the Mac.
I love Twitterific
until
on every platform.
August 16th.
Yeah. And I use the Facebook app on my iPhone a lot because when I'm posting to groups and stuff, I can copy and paste and move things around, go into the groups, go into my pages, and go into my timeline, everything. It works for me. I know a lot of people have difficulties with certain aspects of it, but for how I use it, it's a workhorse.
A couple of other ones that I did want to mention. Be My Eyes for us non-IRA payers is phenomenal. I use that almost all the time. NFB Newsline as well as Bard. If you're looking for newspapers
Bard.
Good old Bard, although I haven't read a book in forever because I'm always listening to podcasts, but just fantastic apps, and the must-have apps if you happen to be blind. So
and audible.com. Love it.
And Drafts 5. I really like that because the cursor starts right away. You want to take a note?
Yeah,
bang.
so like a note taker of old. I love it.
Yeah, I'm on Drafts 4.
Oh, the legacy.
Yeah. So, Allison, you just bought a new home, so it's kind of interesting that I wanted to discuss smart homes. Now, I know you did mention on the last show you'd like to make your home as smart as possible, and it was funny. I guess. Between the last podcast and this one, I stopped over at the Allison Hartley Tech Museum and I picked myself up a Google Home Mini just because they're so cheap nowadays. You could find them I got mine for about $40. I mean, sometimes you can even find them for $30 due to sales. And I do like the voice on it, but it almost gave me a heart attack the other day because I had to go somewhere. So I decided to ask it how long it was going to take me to get to my location. And as it's answering me, all of a sudden on my phone pops up a voice that says
directions sent to your phone.
Yeah, it was a notification. I thought that was a cool.
Oh my goodness.
Because the A-Lady will send it to your phone, but you have to then go into the A-Lady app to get it. And this was sent directly to my notification center and lightning fast with the step-by-step directions and everything. So you guys are both Google Home users, aren't you?
I have one. Right now I don't have it plugged in, but I do enjoy it. I have not really used it for much of the smart home stuff, so I'll probably plug it back in one of the rooms in the new house. I've got an Ecobee 4 thermostat that has A-Lady built into it. That's going to be interesting. I'm hoping to get a smart lock and a Ring doorbell and some other cool stuff like that as well.
What about you, Jeff? You using smart light bulbs so you can see?
I have the smart switches from Wemo that are in the living room on the lamps. And what I like about that is I don't have to worry about it that every night that they come on. So when someone shows up at my house and just pitch dark, and then I have a switch out in the garage that turns on the driveway light. I have that set up pretty nice. So, sun goes down, the lights come on, and then the kid comes home around 10:30. So at 10:45, those lights go out. So if anybody notices this pattern that's listening to this, you'll tell when we're asleep and when we're not.
Jeff's house gets robbed before the next episode.
Yeah.
So, hey, it'd be great. It would mean that sighted people are listening to us as well as blind people. Here's what I want. I would love, I would love a light that's so smart that it knows that I'm here and I'm blind, so the lights don't need to be on. But anytime it detects a sighted person, because I had this happen one time where a neighbor used to start coming over a lot, and after his third or fourth time there, he finally says to me, "Would you mind turning some lights on? It's a little creepy in here." Oh man, why did it take you 3 to 4 times to say something?
Wow.
Lights are activated.
Which is funny because I then turned the lights on and he never came over again, so he must have seen what I look like with the lights on.
Scared.
What I would like to see the Wemo to do it, and it works on an app, that you have the app, then you have the Amazon app in your phone as well. I would like to have a setting so instead of changing the time, because in Minnesota we go from like 4:30, 5 o'clock being dark in the wintertime to right now it's light out till 9 o'clock. So there's a period of time in the spring where someone says, why are the lights on? Well, it used to be dark at this time, you know, so you have to keep on adjusting that. And I'd like to just set it for like sunset because I think the phone can figure out when sunset is because it can do everything else. Yeah.
Well, I'm, if you listen to our last episode, I finally got my first smart home appliance, the GE air conditioner, which we're going to be having a demo coming up of it here shortly. But one thing that excited me, I decided recently that I've had a microwave for probably about 5 years, and I'm really in the market for a new microwave. So I started looking into it, and coming out this spring, they're finally going to have, I don't think they're out on the market yet, microwaves that you can control through the A-Lady and everything. Whoa. Right now, I currently have a couple of tactile things that I put on my microwave at the 1 minute button, the 30-second button, the one other button. But I only have those 3 commands that I could use. So I'm looking forward because I've been reading about these microwaves where you could tell them cook chicken or cook, this, cook. And a lot of these now microwaves are microwave/conventional ovens, which for somebody like me that's scared to death of using the stove, this could be pretty cool. Have you read about any microwaves like these, Allison?
I have not. We're having a microwave that's built in above our stove in the new house, so I doubt I'll be looking at it anytime soon. But that's interesting that you can get one that's a combination of an oven, of a stove top, and a microwave. And of course, anything that you can yell at A-Lady to do. That's always interesting to me.
You got the June oven coming out. It actually has a camera in top, so it'll identify what's in there. So if you put like 2 waffles in there, it'll go through the process of crisping up your waffles just how you like them.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
So you can actually tell it, and I think it has 25 recipes or 25 built-in things, so it'll identify that, that looks like chicken, and it'll automatically just know what to do. It'll take pictures of it. It's $1,400.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, this is the one that has Android built into it. I don't know if it has TalkBack, though.
Yeah, and you could only use it during the month of June, so that's kind of a downside. Pretty sure this is the model from Whirlpool that's coming out, this smart microwave, where if you want to make a certain meal, it'll be able to, and I'm trying to remember if this is the Whirlpool one or the one that's going to be coming out 15 years from now, but it's going to be smart enough to be able to say, okay, this is the dish you want to make, these are the ingredients you need, and it's going to send it to your phone, to your grocery service, so then you could quickly send those ingredients and get them shopped and sent over to you and everything. I mean, it has some really remarkable technology. I'm pretty sure it's the Whirlpool model that they showed off at CES. I think I read it's going to retail for about $619. That's $619, so a lot cheaper than a Braille keyboard. Still a little more than I'm looking to spend on a microwave. I think this last microwave that I got that I just call a dumb microwave was about $120, but I'd spend up to $200 for a microwave that works with the A-Lady, and I'm able to control more than just 3 buttons on it.
Do you guys remember the microwaves where you just turn the dial like to 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock? That seemed to work pretty good.
They were great. Yep.
You guys remember when we were young and we had microwaves that caused brain cancer? If you stood in front of them too long?
They moved all that to the smartphone now.
Yeah. That's why I'm looking forward to it, because I keep my smartphone in my pocket all the time.
Oh, so boy. Fun times ahead.
Fun times ahead. Another thing I'm shopping for, and I shop for a lot of things. I don't buy everything because I don't have that kind of money, but I came across this, and we'll put the link in the show notes. This is a smart coffee/home brewing beer maker all in one device. I mean, come on, does it get any better? Because they can.
I mean, if I want coffee, I want coffee. And if I want beer, I want beer. And if I want beer, I'm going to go to the store or have it delivered. I'm not going.
Why? When you could just make it? What if you wake up and the thing with the coffee makers, because I don't think I'll ever get a smart coffee maker. You'd still have to probably have a water attached to it of some kind. And when you're renting an apartment, you're not going to build something like that in. But if I had a home, but coffee and beer, I mean. Sometimes I like to drink coffee to wake me up before I go out, but then I want beer to start, pre-partying before I go out. So that's,
but the process of making beer is very involved. It's like it takes a while.
This thing got great reviews.
I don't know. Got the barley and the coffee beans mixed up again this morning. I won't be into work.
Oh, man. Oh, I don't know how that would go. Hot beer. Ugh.
Yeah, it's not like we're talking heroin and meth here. It's beer. Come on, So.
No, I mean, I don't have any moral opposition to it. I just know what goes into beer making, and it takes a while.
Haven't you ever heard the line, beer is for breakfast, drink or be gone? So that tells me that your beer should go with your coffee.
Well, when I was reading the article, they do have a machine out there that's about $1,100 that you can brew stuff in it. And I think it's two brothers that put this together. One was an engineer at Microsoft, and the other guy was a chemist. So they said people like to brew, and they just stuck with that. People like to brew a lot of stuff. So they wanted to get it down to the size where you could put it on your tabletop or your countertop, and the price down. And they got it down. I believe they're going to be right around that $4.99 mark, but the Kickstarter, you can get it for cheaper than that. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, curious. Some people are really into that stuff.
They're brew curious, yeah.
I thought you were going to say one of the brothers worked at Starbucks and the other was a beer salesman. They came up. They wanted to do something together to bring the family closer together. Aww. But what I like about this show, this specific episode, people are going to get out of here. Well, I dropped $5,000 after listening to that Blind Tech Show.
And that was just for delivery.
We think we got some hate mail last time. Man, it's going to be...
Hey, you could buy this coffee maker and the microwave and the oven we discussed for less than toilet paper from Amazon.
You speak about the mail and hate mail and stuff like that. We got a letter, and it was so surprising. And it was titled International Preservation of Sarcasm.
Yay!
You didn't forward that one to me.
Oh, yes, I did.
Did you?
Yes, you forwarded it to both of us. I saw it too.
Oh, maybe I missed the subject line. Either that or...
Oh, great, Brian. Great, Brian. That's really awesome. That's really awesome that you care so much.
It was really well written, and they're excited that I was going over to England and stuff.
May I just remind all that sarcasm is that one thing separating us from the robots. For the hardcore techie nerds out here who eagerly follow the news, which is mostly serious as it breaks, the wisecrackery from my imaginary friends over at That Blind Tech Show gives me a much appreciated hit of humor. Listening to Siri voice reading so much, why would anyone even want a life less witty and sarcastic? Jeff, I am glad to hear you are coming to London in September. Our A-lady here may not have your skills, but our Amazon Prime Now man does hand deliver groceries within 2 hours at part of the membership. I cannot afford the Whole Foods Market side of things, but the rough and ready side is good too. I feel really awful for my Amazon delivery dudes though. Sometimes it's not here in 2 hours. It pops up as delivery failed on the app, but the poor guy will always deliver my groceries on his way home, on his own time. Wait, and Amazon is putting up the Prime membership fee. My exhausted delivery dudes out delivering till midnight every night shall be pleased to hear that. Blind optimism and sarcasm intended. Keep up the good work, guys. Much love from the British A-lady Annie.
Annie, a robot can be sarcastic if humans would just let them be robots.
That was very funny, and come on, I'm not expected to know multisyllabic words and everything. There were too many syllables in those words. But no, that was a great email.
You can say that, but you can't remember the name of your own dog or your own podcast. I just don't know about you.
Hash, Nash.
Psst, thanks for the letter, Annie.
Have either of you ever used one of these Instant Pot cookers? They seem to be all the rage these days.
We bought one, and we have yet to use it. In the new house, I think it's going to become a thing. So
it hasn't been retired to the Allison Tech Museum just yet?
Not yet. No.
Like I said, I don't really cook, but they're very popular.
But I know people who don't cook conventionally, and they love the Instant Pot, and they're making things that they never thought they'd make before because of the Instant Pot. So yeah. I would check it out.
Well, Allison, you could always use it to store your Google Home.
That's true. It would probably fit beautifully.
Good protection, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, we've gone over some great products here that are getting smart or already smart. Are there any products that you could think of out there that you'd like to see get smart?
Are kids a product?
Technically, I mean, they're produced.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, something that I always thought that would really be smart was like rakes and shovels and everything like that. So kids would be enticed to use them.
Yeah.
Like, can you outscore the neighbor in raking the yard? Or like on their favorite games, they could shovel the driveway and score points or armor in their games, you know? So there'd be some motive.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You just touched on $1 billion industry, the smart snowblower that a robot can use so you don't have to get off your ass in the winter.
You better patent all that. Go patent it all right now, Jeff, before somebody else does.
Yeah. So anyhow, we actually have a product demo here for you guys, and we have a very special guest. He's very talented. He's handsome. He's good looking. He's ultra suave. Take it away, Brian.
He's modest.
Yeah. Conceited. Let's see.
I just want to hand off to myself and then take it back from myself. Wow.
It's demo time.
Here's a little demo of the GE AHP08LX with your A-Lady. So do not listen in close proximity to your A-Lady device. Alexa, ask Geneva to turn the air conditioning on.
You'd like me to turn on your air conditioner, right?
Yes.
Got it. I've turned on your air conditioner.
Now, the key with this GE device is you need to use the keyword Geneva. Obviously, the first letter is G and E, and I guess it sounds sexy, so that's why they went with Geneva. Alexa, ask Geneva for the status of the air condition.
Your air conditioner is set to cool using Energy Saver to 74 degrees Fahrenheit.
And what it does there is it tells you, obviously, the temperature, the mode, cool, and what it's set to. Now, this air condition does have 3 fan speeds. I believe right now it's set to low. I wish that's one thing they did put in this little status. So we're going to try and change it to high. Alexa, ask Geneva to change the fan to high.
Got it. I've set your air conditioner's fan to high.
And as you heard, the air conditioning unit does beep, so you know it got it, plus it told you it got it. I believe we're set to 72 degrees, so now I'm going to change the temperature. Alexa, ask Geneva to change the air condition to 75 degrees.
You'd like me to set your air conditioner's temperature to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I got that beep again, and it confirmed that it changed it to 75 degrees. But I like it nice and cool, and it's starting to get warm here in New York, so I'm going to change it back. Alexa, ask Geneva to change the air condition to 72 degrees.
You'd like me to set your air conditioner's temperature to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, right?
Yes.
Sure.
And it even told me sure, plus I heard the beep. And of course, you can turn it on and off. You can change the fan modes. You can change the cooled speed. It has an energy saver in it. But now we're going to turn it off. Alexa, ask Geneva to turn the air condition off. Ask Geneva to turn the air condition off.
Okay, I've turned off your air conditioner.
And you notice how fast that is. So as long as it understands what you're saying, it's going to work. Sometimes if your air conditioner is set to high and it's blowing real fast, and if you talk real fast like me, like us New Yorkers, it might not understand you. So you do have to slow down what you're saying, give it a little time. But so far, I've only had it for a few weeks, and I'm very happy with the purchase. Obviously, most of the time, I'm going to be using this GE air condition with the A-Lady, but I also have the S-Lady, and that's Siri. And the cool thing is I have an Apple Watch, so I'm going to go ahead and push the button. Turn on the air condition.
Understood. Request sent.
Now, there's a little longer delay with Siri. As you heard it, it said understood, request sent. Let's see if we can change the temperature. I believe it's currently set to 72 degrees. Change the air condition to 75 degrees.
Okay, I set the window AC to 75 degrees Fahrenheit.
And I also heard a beep letting me know that it was changed. Now, I don't know if the fan works with this. I believe the fan is set to high. Set the air conditioning fan to low.
Okay, I set the window AC to low.
And it actually did do it. Sometimes it says I can't do that for some reason with the fan speed, but it did say it was set to low, and I did hear the beep. Now, let's, of course, get it back to 72 degrees. Set the fan to 72 degrees.
Sorry, that feature is not supported by your fans.
Obviously, I said the wrong thing because I don't even own a fan. Set the AC to 72 degrees.
Okay, I set the window AC to 72 degrees Fahrenheit.
And one thing I noticed there when using Siri, I used both the words air conditioned as well as AC, and it responded smartly to both. So maybe Siri isn't as dumb as we all think. But when I did say change the fan to this temperature, it did tell me that I can't do that because I do not have a smart fan. For now, you can use General Electric's app, you could use Apple's HomeKit, you can use your A-Lady, you can also use your Google Home, which I have not set up yet, and you could also use Siri on your iPhone, iPad, and as you just witnessed, on your Apple Watch. Bye for now.
Demo is over.
That air condition sounds really cool. In fact, I wish I had it on right now because it's hot in here, except it makes a little too much noise to use while doing the podcast. So because I've already established on the show, if you've listened to the whole show, I've been window shopping a lot, I guess. I haven't bought anything yet. We've all used USB sticks before, and the only problem with the USB stick is you can't use them with your phones, and that's the device we use the most. But it was recently brought to my attention that Sandisk sells a wireless stick, and this just sounds like the greatest product, and they're really affordable. I looked them up, and depending on gigabyte size, they're anywhere between $29 on Amazon all the way up to $150 for 256 gigs.
Wow.
Amazon. You see, I'm shopping so much I wanted to call Allison Amazon.
So, Brian, is this like cloud in your pocket?
It's like a rainbow cloud in your pocket.
It's a wireless stick in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just not happy to be on this podcast, are you?
I have more content in my pocket because I have the Sandisk wireless stick. Allison.
I can share it with you from here.
This sounds really cool. I mean, you could double the size of your iPhone. Sorry about all the innuendos.
I have a 256 gig iPhone already, so I'd wanna, double my pleasure. I mean, my storage, and.
Wow, you're packing some serious heat there.
I am.
Now, the only question I have, you do have to use this with the Sandisk app, and I'm hoping the Sandisk app is accessible because I
believe it is, actually.
Okay, so if anybody's using the Sandisk wireless stick and you're not having as much fun with it as we've described, but
you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. But if you do know that it's accessible, do tweet us in at BlindTechShow or shoot us in an email, ThatBlindTechShow@gmail.com. Let us know if the app is fully accessible, but it's great to hear that most likely it probably is. How often do you guys back up, Jeff? I'm not talking about in a car.
Well, when I saw the size of the wireless stick, I backed up a long way. I would say all the way to 2016.
So, Jeff, do you back up often?
Often?
And he complains about Siri. Yes, I back up often, Brian.
And using Time Machine?
Yes, I do use that feature on the Mac, and that works pretty good. The other thing that I do is there's certain files that I want to make sure I have archives of, and so I do back up certain audio files, certain documents that I want no matter where I am. So that's why I have multiple external hard drives. And I have 3 external hard drives. One is for my MacBook Pro, and the 2 others are for my Mac, each being 3 terabytes.
Wow.
And one of the externals on my Mac is used primarily for Dropbox because, Dropbox is kind of deceiving. If you have a Dropbox that is 1 terabyte, you better have a terabyte on your Mac as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I have 2 terabyte drives, because I got them when they were much more expensive, and I'm looking into getting a 4 terabyte drive. I don't really like Seagate. I had an issue with the Seagate drive. It didn't work properly. I do love the I think they're the W2 My Passport drives. I've always had good luck with those. What about yourself, Allison? Do you regularly back up or use Time Machine?
I back up my phone very regularly because all I have to do is plug it in and it backs up to iCloud. So it's kind of laziness proof. I back up as far as my PC and my Mac. I put important files into either Dropbox or OneDrive or iCloud Drive, but I don't find myself, especially since I'm not really using a Mac as much, I don't really find myself doing a full complete backup, and not of the PC either, although I probably should. That's probably going to come back to bite me. So I fail at backing up. I fail.
But Allison, you're not a failure.
I fail.
At Failures Anonymous. Thanks for coming.
I did notice because I almost bought something and then I'm like, you know what? I better check. You do need to make sure nowadays, depending on what computer you're using, if you're using USB-C, USB-A, because I don't believe the USB-Cs work with any of the older computers. You must probably have something, I think, 2016 or 2017 and forward for USB-C.
Yeah, you got to get a dongle, a reverse dongle, if you're going to...
And soon you'll have to get a dongle for your dongle.
Yes. And you'll have dongles dangling all over the place.
Yeah, I almost majored in dongle-ease in college, but they weren't offering that course.
Why don't they come up with a wireless extension cord? I mean, wouldn't that be sweet? I'm charging right now.
Oh, you know what would be cool on the iPhone is if they had a separate thing for the charge thing and a separate thing for the headphone.
Yeah, boy, that would be very innovative.
We're not going to start that debate.
Well, Apple is all about one orifice. That's it.
Maybe Apple has so many dumb users they couldn't figure out which slot was which, so they decided to simplify it.
One hole to rule them all.
Very Lord of the Rings-ish. Back in the late 90s, I had DirecTV, where you had that old satellite dish and everything out the house, but they now have, obviously, a very cheap, affordable through AT&T DirecTV package. Unfortunately, and this, none of us, I believe, are DirecTV users, so we're just talking about it from hearing about it all over the email list. They broke all of the accessibility to the guide with their latest update, which really infuriates me, because wasn't it December of 2016 where Congress enacted the law where all set-tops and guides had to be accessible to blind people? It almost seems like we're going backwards here, Allison.
Yeah, but as with anything, there's loopholes, there's grace periods, there's all kinds of room for them not to actually do what they're supposed to do. But ultimately, they do need to comply. So if you are a DirecTV customer and this is happening to you, you need to raise a ruckus. Politely, of course.
But what about you, Jeff? Who's your cable provider there in Minnesota?
Comcast.
Oh.
Same here. Yeah.
So did Xfinity give your password to your router to everybody in the world?
That was 2 weeks ago. No, I didn't change mine.
Okay.
Yeah. That was 2 days ago. Come on now. It's old news.
Yeah, I know. So I thought that was great that they released everybody's router name and password. It's like...
But it was only if you actually had an Xfinity modem router combo, and I don't. Right. I have one that I bought.
You know what my favorite jingle is?
Which one?
It's from that company with our security breach is bigger than your security breach.
Now, I want to make a point about modems from Comcast and probably from other places too that rent them. You're going to pay up near $10 a month for the modem.
Yeah.
And if you do the math, over 2 years, that's $240.
Forever.
But for about $75, you can get a Comcast compliant modem. Mm-hmm. And you pay one time, $75. The thing is, I called Comcast and they were explaining to me, you can check your data usage, you can check everything on our new app called XFi, that's XFI. And so I went, downloaded the app, and it's really cool because you can monitor who's using your modem, who's using your internet, who's on. You can put time frames, you can put constraints on kids, all sorts of, options. And I thought it was kind of fascinating. The thing is, you have to be using one of their rented modems to use this. And I thought that was kind of bogus.
Oh, boo.
Jeff, aren't your kids grown? Why are you still controlling their internet usage?
No, I don't have to monitor them. I was just explaining the features that the representative was telling me about this XFi app, and yet he did not tell me that I would have to upgrade to their modem, which to me would be a downgrade and have to pay $10 every month.
Yeah.
Speaking of cable, I'm still using a TiVo, so yes, I am the one. They came out with a great new thing I was really excited about. A-Lady control for the TiVo, where I could just tell my TiVo through the A-Lady to fast forward a show, pause it, skip commercials, change it to the channel. But of course, the brilliant engineers at the TiVo made the entire setup process completely inaccessible. Even though they have a built-in screen reader to the TiVo, the directions screen, none of it is read to you. I tried using Be My Eyes, but they couldn't tell if it was capital letters or lowercase.
That's disgusting.
Pathetic.
It's remarkable, though. It does work perfectly accessibly with the Windows Phone.
Of course.
Wow, how's that for irony?
You could probably find a Windows Phone on Amazon for about $7,500.
Delivery.
I had to decide to go with the toilet paper, though, Jeff. So it was one or the other for that price. And so this is our last show. Not ever. Don't worry. I know there was a pause there that scared the listeners.
Do you know how many people just cheered?
Oh. Actually, I assume most of our listeners are listening on at least 2x playback speed, where I probably sound like a chipmunk.
Yeah, there wasn't a pause. It was so fast. It was like a big
bang or something. But no, this is our last show before WWDC drops. And we don't really want to speculate on what is going to happen. Nobody really knows for sure. But there were two things that did catch my attention because there seems to be a lot of chatter out there about it. The first being, what are you guys' thoughts, should this be true, about the Mac being able to run iOS apps? Allison.
I just don't see the point. I mean, a Mac is a Mac, and an iOS device is an iOS device, and sometimes the twain shall meet. But I don't know.
If they could make the Mac fit in my pocket or on my wrist, then maybe I would. But wouldn't that be an iPhone or an Apple Watch, anyways?
I mean, sometimes I have said to myself, for example, sports scores, and I'm at the computer and the phone just happens to be 2 feet away. We have established I am extremely lazy and don't like to get off the couch. So, yeah, I think it's kind of cool, if some of these applications that work so great on iOS might work on the Mac. And if we're not paying anything extra for it, that would be, I imagine it'll just mirror your phone some way and you could VO spacebar to open something.
Well, the only benefit I could see is that then they would probably make the Mac have a touchscreen so you could utilize the apps the way you would utilize them on the phone.
VO left and right arrows, my friend. Anyway, we'll have to see. So that might be coming out, but the biggest thing, and I'm hoping this is so true, I'm praying to God, Allah, Buddha, anybody that'll take my prayers.
Cover all your bases.
Oh, yeah. I'm covering everything here. I've crossed every I, dotted every T, which I know that.
Lit every candle, climbed every mountain. Yeah.
So you didn't catch that. I crossed every T. Anyway, the notification center. I mean, they got it so wrong in iOS 11. It was so funny because I read the article and it was like group notifications in chronological order. And I said, isn't that the way it used to be and works so perfectly? Why is this a new concept?
Yeah.
I would just love chronological order of the timeline. I don't see why they can't make that an option and everything, You can have multiple options for things, so why not let us choose, Don't be an iPhone Nazi, Tim Cook. So, Jeff, what are you hoping to see, if anything, from WWDC?
One thing I really wish they would take from the Apple Watch is the crown, the Apple crown, and put it in your mouth. That way, when you have a tooth replaced, you could get the Apple crown in there, and that way Siri could hear every word you say as clear as a bell. It could monitor the food intake. It could monitor your body fluids from that location. And thus, I know it's an Apple event, WWDC, but, if you happen to get another crown that you need, you could get the Amazon crown, then you could get the Google crown. This is really making it a real wearable device. That's what I'm looking forward to. I mean, it could be the wisdom tooth you want to keep.
Well, I am going to the dentist next week, but Jeff, if they do that, which I've heard there's a very realistic chance of it happening, how are you going to avoid people's calls that you don't want? I was out of town. Oh.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
So, obviously, Jeff could care less what he hears out of WWDC, but...
what I would really like to see him is tighten up the ship and make sure that all the functions that they do have work really well, as they've intended to do this year. The other thing I would like to see him do is come back with a vengeance into the personal assistant department and have a HomePod Mini for $19. I think they could flood the market with those and make it actually get in the competition with the others. I don't want to see another color. I never really understood why there's a color. As soon as you put a case on, poof, doesn't matter anyway. So this color thing isn't important to me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're probably stating something that the rest of the blindness community feels. But Allison, do you have any wishes for WWDC?
I want to be able to pair two HomePods together. I want to be able to control more stuff on the HomePod, so I want to be able to have Audio Kit for HomePod so that I can just play my Audible books without AirPlay. I really would like Braille to be fixed once and for all on iOS 12, but that's a long shot. It's getting better and better every year, though, so we can hope. Those are my 2 big things, honestly.
Boy, you 2 left out the most important thing.
What did we leave out?
A smarter Siri.
I've given up hope, honestly. I keep hearing about how Siri's going to get smarter, but it just never happens, so I'll believe it when I see it.
You know what a smarter Siri reminds me of? Kind of George Bush's presidency when he kept saying, "We don't know when it's coming, but it's coming. There's going to be an attack." It's kind of like a smarter Siri is, we don't know when it's coming, but it is coming. So anyhow, there is a lot of terrorist rumblings that there will be a smarter Siri. And
you're so insensitive,
but anyhow, this has been another That Blind Tech Show, which you could download by subscribing to the Blind Abilities Empire Network just by searching for 2 words, Blind Abilities. You can email us in always, thatblindtechshow@gmail.com. We are on the Twitter at BlindTechShow, all one word. Allison, besides moving, anything else going on in Napa?
Well, there's always a lot going on. I'm basically podcasting everywhere and just working hard and living life, trying to have a good time. You can follow my antics on Twitter at Hot4Technology. That's hot, the number 4, technology.
Wow, pretty cool. What about yourself, Jeff? What do you got shaking?
Well, since our last show, the rabbits actually killed my 3 apple trees by peeling the bark off all the way around them for about 1.5 feet section. Wow. And so I replaced them with 2 apple trees and a pear tree. And now I just have to find a partridge, I guess. And I also just want to say to Allison, congratulations on the closing of your house.
Oh, thank you.
And I know along comes with that is anxiety, hope, and a lot of stress.
There was so much, but it's all worth it now.
Congratulations to you and your family.
Thanks.
How many episodes is this?
This is episode 16, old inquisitive one.
Wow. And you know what I just realized? Not once has anybody asked us what I have going on. But for now, we are out.
What do you have going on?
Stay tuned for the cliffhanger. What does Brian Fischler have going on?
Fischler.
When we share
what we see through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between the limited expectations and the realities
of blind abilities.
The realities of blind abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, blindabilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.